afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Claritysoft training webinar. Today is Tuesday, June 4th, 2019, and I'm Susan Arnold, Claritysoft Implementation Specialist. Today's topic is Claritysoft for Beginners. This is designed for those of you that are just getting started with using Claritysoft and just want to get a general overview and some ideas on how to work in the database, or perhaps you need a little bit of review on things. So we will go ahead and get started here. In your Zoom meeting, you will notice that there is a Q&A panel. If you have any questions while I'm talking and explaining things, please feel free to type your questions in that panel, and I will do my best to answer them for you. All right, the topics we want to cover today, I'm going to start down here. We're going to do an overview of all the modules in Claritysoft. Now, some of the modules you may have, you may not have. We'll cover all the basic modules and take a look at those. And then the navigation in any software, when you first start using it, navigating efficiently within the software is very important. There are different ways to navigate within Claritysoft, so I'll try to point out some little shortcuts and help type things that will make it easier for you so you don't get lost. And then the screen layout in Claritysoft, as a user, you are able to configure the different columns that you see on your screen so that you can see the data fields that you wish to see in what we call our list view. So I will show you how to edit and save the changes to that screen layout to make it useful to you. And then lastly, we'll go through a basic workflow, starting with a record that's entered in the leads module, and then converting it to create an account and contact records, an opportunity record, and then converting the opportunity to a quote and a sale. Again, you may not use that whole flow, but you'll see what's there and it should help you understand the flow throughout the database. All right, back up here to the three primary applications. When you purchase your Claritysoft license, each user has the ability or the access to three different versions of Claritysoft. The one that you're most likely working in is Claritysoft Live, which you access by opening Google Chrome, which is the recommended web browser that we would like you to use. And you go to claritycrm.com. That will take you to a login screen. You log in and you're in the database. On your mobile phone, you can do the same thing, open a browser on your phone and go to claritycrm.com. It will automatically put in the M for mobile. You don't need to do that. The other thing you can do, if you have an iPhone, you can go out to the Apple Store and download an app. Look up Claritysoft at the Apple Store. And if you have an Android phone, you may do the same thing at the store and look up Claritysoft and download an app. So that's available to you. When you make a direct connection to the database, you're seeing all the data, but configured for your mobile phone. And then the third version that we have is what's called our offline version. This is an installed version. It must work on a PC, not a Mac, and you may install it on your computer for the purposes of if you travel a lot and you spend a lot of time on an airplane, you can download the offline version and work in your Claritysoft while you are away from an internet connection. So that is available to you as well. Not all the same features are in offline as in live, but for general purposes of working in the database, the offline version works very nicely. So that you will be able to do. And you can have all three accessible to you and use them as you need. All right, so let's switch to our Claritysoft. As I said, with Claritysoft Live, you want to open your web browser and you enter claritycrm.com. That's all you need to type. Press the enter key and you will come to this login screen. Then you will enter the username that you have been given, the password, and your database name. The password is case sensitive, the username and the database name are not. Once you've entered this, then you can click in this Remember Me checkbox, and the next time you come to the login screen, the only thing you will have to enter is your password. So it will remember your login name and your database name. You click Sign In. It will bring you into the database, and you will land. You will probably land in one of two places when you come in. You're either going to land in the Accounts module, or you may land on the home screen. It depends on what is set up. You can change that. I'll show you in a minute how to do that. So depending on where you land, you just click on the module that you wish to go to. So over here on the left-hand side of the screen, this is called the navigation panel, and you can see a list of all the different modules here. Now again, you may not have all of the modules that I have here. You also might have, they might be in a different order. So don't panic, no worries on that. You're able to change the order, and your admin user is the one who has decided which modules you have, or it depends on what you've purchased for your licensing. So you might not see a marketing module, you might not see some other types of modules here, but you will definitely see accounts, contacts, opportunities, quotes, sales, activities, calendar, all the way down to here, plus reports you will see. And then depending on what your company has decided to use, you may or may not see certain modules as well, because that is able to be controlled by your admin user. So you click on a module, as I've done here on the accounts, and on the right-hand side, you will see what we call our list view, because over here you see a list of all of your records that are your account or company records. So you can see the company name is listed, there's a phone number, website, and each record will have an owner who is a user in the database. Again, it's possible when you log in, the way you are set up to see your records is you see only those records that belong to you, where you are the owner. You do not see all of them. Again, that's a setup that can be done by your admin user, and it can be changed at any time. Over here, we see some different buttons. These buttons allow you to do things with the record, which I'll go over in a minute. Down at the bottom, we see results per page, and this is telling us that right now we can see 20 records per page. And over here, we have 11 pages of records with a total number of records of 201, okay? So this results per page can be increased to 50 or 100. And you'll notice if I increase it to 100 per page, then what happens is suddenly my number of pages reduces because I have 100 per page. So there's 100, 200, and the third page should only have one record on it. So there's the 201. So you can change that at any time. And then you can scroll through pages, although you're really not going to do that very often. You're going to search for the specific record that you want to find rather than scroll through pages and pages of rows. You have your columns here. These can be changed. So that's the first thing that I'm going to show you, because a lot of times when you first log into your database, you say, well, I can see some information here, but it doesn't really make much sense or help me with the data that I know is in our database. So first of all, I'm going to open a record and look at the fields that are in here. Then I'm going to show you how to add those fields to this column. To open a record, two ways. Right here, we can see that the account name is hyperlinked, and I can click on it to open it. The other way to do it is to click on this file folder icon. And I'm going to recommend that you do that, because when you're in other modules, always clicking on this file folder icon will get you to the right record for the module that you're in. So I'm going to click here. This is going to open the record for 1-800-CUPCAKE. And up at the top, you can see I'm in the account record. This is the name of the company. I have some shortcut buttons for adding activities. Down here, I have the address information for the company. There is a text box here for description where you can type some special notes or some special description about the company. And then down in this area, I have all these different tabs. And the tabs show me information about this company. The first tab is the Details tab. And this is all of the detail information about the company. So I have the name, I have the phone number, the website, who the owner is. And then these are some custom fields that are part of what we've put into the design here. And I don't have anything filled in, so I want to maybe fill something in. And these are very generic, as you can see. So I have a product interest, and I have an industry type. A lot of times having some sort of industry type, market segment, that sort of thing allows you to customize or categorize your company so that you can search by the type of company it is. So since this is a cupcake company, I'm going to assume they're food and beverage. And I'm going to set that. And then the territory is north, south, east, west. Well, they happen to be in Canada, so I guess that's why I set it to other, because I don't have a Canadian choice there. And then there's all their address information. And over here, a lead source field for how did they come to me. This is a customizable list, so yours was probably customized. You can add to it, at least your admin person can add to it. And if you have suggestions for other fields or options under drop-down list, please let your admin user know. That person can add additional fields at any time. This tells you that this record was created on December 12th of 2018, and the last edit date was 5/28. Okay, so as soon as I save this record, this should update itself to 6/4. And then these are fields that are coming from leads and the last touch date. So if I come down here and just simply click save, notice that my last edit date updates itself to 6/4. So it tells you the time. So the creation date will always stay the same, obviously, but your last edit date will tell you the last time you came in or someone came in and edited the record. The other tabs here hold information. These are all the contact people that I have for 1-800-CUPCAKE. Notice I can have more than one, and I can open a contact record by clicking on the link. I can come over here. If I wanted to email a contact, I can click on the email link and it will open an email form, and I can type and send an email from within Claritysoft. So that's there. The blue star indicates that this person is a primary contact for the company. There's a checkbox in the contact record. All right. And then this one shows me all the activities that I have scheduled. I have quite a few. They go back into 2018, so you can see we are definitely not up to date here and with our activities and getting them done, but it tells you what they are and who is supposed to do it or who created it. And then closed activities are the activities that you have completed. All open activities eventually should be completed and closed, and then they will move to the closed activities tab. So this tab here should be relatively short on the number of activities, and this one will grow because this is your history of all the things that you've done with the company. All right, and you can open an activity to view it, and you have a place to put as many notes that you want. And we'll get into this in more detail. So email campaigns has to do with the marketing module. If you have it, then any email campaigns this person has or company has been included in will be shown here. Opportunities are your sales opportunities that you've done with the company. It will show you the name of the opportunity, the product, which is new business or renewal, a sales stage as to where it is, the probability, which goes along with the sales stage of closing it, the anticipated close date, and you can see we are quite lax in this database in getting things done, and this is the amount. So this allows you to see all the opportunities you've ever done with the company and monitor them, and then directly get to the opportunity record. And then quotes are the same thing. You can take an opportunity, convert it to a quote record, send out quotes from within Claritysoft. If you win the quote, then you convert it to a sale record if you're using the sales module and you have your sale recorded in here. So this is a custom module I won't talk about. Attachments are documents. You may attach any documents to an account record, such as contracts or things like that at any time. They will show up in a list here. Then Shanna's asking me, how can we indicate there's an attachment on an activity? With an email activity, when you open it, there is an attach button here, and you have to click on it to see if there is an attachment. That's the only way that you can see that, okay? So if you send an activity, an email out of Outlook that has an attachment on it, and then you save that email back to Claritysoft, then you can open it here and you will see the attached document under that attached tab, okay? All right, so that's a quick look. The reason I wanted to do this was to see what custom fields we have in here, because when I go back out, and you want to make sure you always click Save and Close. If you don't, if you've made a change and you click Cancel, or you come up here and click the back button, it will pop up with a message. Are you sure you want to leave? Because that's telling you, whoops, you didn't save things. And so you want to make sure that you get in the habit of doing a save and close, which returns you back to your list. So now that I know what custom fields I have, I want to show you how to set up your list view so that you can make this more useful to you for the data that you want to see. And to do that, you go to this vertical ellipsis button in the upper right. It's also called a kebab button because it looks like a shish kebab. And then you go to column settings. And on the left, you will see all the different fields that you have available to pull over to the right. So I may want to see what city they're in, because maybe I want to search by the city. I may want to see now I forget which one, I think it was industry type. And I want to see the product interest. And again, you may have other fields available to you. Here's territory. So depending on how your database is set up, you will see different fields, and then you can pull those fields over to the right. Anything on the right that you don't want to see, just drag it to the left and drop it, okay? And you can move these around to any position. You just push them, and when you see the blue box, that's where it's going to land. Down here, you choose how to sort your list. By default, this is sorting by the account name in ascending order, which means A to Z. And then the results per page, if you don't want to look at 20, you prefer to look at 100 all the time, then change it in here, and every time you log into Claritysoft, it will be at 100. All right, Shanna's asking another question. Can a custom field be added to the activity to denote an attachment? No, right now you cannot customize the activity module. However, we are upgrading it in probably the next 2-3 months, and it will be more customizable. So at that point, yes, that might be possible. But right now, no. Okay. All right, so now you can see my columns, and I can see my cities, my states. I can see my industry type, my product interest. I can see that I'm missing a lot of data. in my industry type and my product interest. So this is something that you really want to pay attention to in your database, that if your category type fields are missing information, it's very important to fill these in, because if you start doing searches, all these ones with blanks, unless you're looking for blanks, won't come up. So you want to make sure that you're filling that data in. Now, the other thing you can do on your column headings is you can click in a column heading and sort by that column. And so that will pull up all the ones. So I can see I only have 5 of these filled in out of 200. So I have a lot of work to do to update these. And then notice the little triangle here that tells me that I'm sorting on the industry type right now. And if I want to go back and sort on my account column, I can sort on my account column. So you may choose any column to sort on. A first click will sort it in ascending order, A to Z. A second click will do it in descending order, Z to A. So just click until you're in the order in which you want it. All right. So that's setting up columns. Each of the modules, you do the same thing. If you want to go to contacts and go to that ellipsis button, you may go there and put in your columns that you want to see in your contacts. So I can do the same thing. I can go to each module. So that's one of the things you may want to do when you first log into Claritysoft, and you can, you know, set up all your columns and all your modules so you're seeing the data that you wish to see. And then Claritysoft will remember it until you come back and change it. All right. Now, searching. Again, like I said, you don't want to go scroll page to page. What if you have 10,000 records in here? You certainly don't want to scroll from page to page hunting for record number 9,998. So we have a quick search box up here, and we are able to type in part of a company name to search. So if I just start typing part of a name, and I'm just, my hands are waving in the air, the keyboard, Claritysoft, after a few seconds, will begin to search the whole database and pull up everything that matches the characters that I typed. So I can see I got American Technologies Corp. And American Tile Corp. Company. Okay, so hopefully one of those is one of the ones I want. I can open the record and edit it, do what I want to do, add some activities, whatever I want to do. When I want to clear the search out, I simply click the X. It will take me back to my full list, and then I can search for something else. So if I type, I don't even know what I've got in here, so let me see if I can get anything. Now, to speed up the search a little bit, you can type and then press the Enter key. So I don't have anything there. Let me just take a letter out. The Enter key will say, go ahead, I'm done typing. So now I have GO, and notice what I got here. I got Add Go, I got Gold and Whitney, Goldman, Gorman, Montgomery, and San Diego. So I wanted you to see that it doesn't matter where the letters are in the word. So if you're not really sure how to spell a particular company name, the less you type, the better, because it's going to search for the combination of letters that you type anywhere in the company name. It could be at the beginning, it could be in the middle, it could be anywhere in the word. So then, you know, maybe you were looking for, I don't know, Montgomery Partnership, and that's the one you want. So you can go to it. All right. So once you're done with that, you go to your record, and then when you're finished with the search, you can clear it out to go back to your full list. Shanna, I see your questions. I'm going to get to those in a little bit, okay? All right, this is our search, okay? And this allows you to do a more search on a category or by state or by city. So we have under the spyglass button several types of searches. I'm going to concentrate on the advanced search and the global search, we don't really use the segment search anymore, and the filter is already in the advanced search. So I'm going to go to the advanced search first. And this lets you search for on a specific field. So we have 4 tabs up here. We can search on a form filter, which lets you type something or select an option to search on from a drop-down list. A standard filter gives you a little more control where you can do multi-level searches, like I want to find everybody in Ohio or Indiana, something like that. And a time filter search lets you search on a date field. I want to find every record where I have created it in the last 3 months or the last 2 months, okay? Or something like that. So you choose a date and then you select a time period, and then it will look for it that way. And then this is a product filter. If you are using the products and services, the price book in Claritysoft, you can search for all of the sale records, quotation records, or opportunity records that have a particular product or products in them and the accounts that those products were purchased by. So that's a nice feature to have. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make it easy. I want to find everybody in Ohio. And I click search. So when I see my state field, they all should say Ohio. Okay, that's a reason why you want to use the columns. If you're going to do a particular search, you want to put the column that you're searching on in your list view so that you know you did get the right answers. And then up here, it has advanced search view. So it tells you in red, you've got a filter turned on, and you're looking right now at Ohio. You have 3 options: edit, save, or cancel. So if I click cancel, it clears the filter and goes back to my full list, okay? And then I could go back over here and I could do another search if I wanted to. So if I wanted to search, I'll just do another state because I don't have much in my categories. Then I'm getting all the ones in Georgia. Also notice when you get these down here at the bottom, it does tell you how many records you're looking at. So you know how many. So if I search on this fairly often, like I always want to know my people that are in Georgia, I can save this view or search, and I could just call it and then it becomes part of this drop down. So I can very quickly go to all accounts, which are all 201. I can go to Georgia. I can go to here, I have Midwest territory, where I searched on the territory for Midwest, and I have 42 of them. So this allows you to create and save these views or filters, and then you have, you don't have to recreate the filter. So play with those. They're really, really good. This one allows you to search by a user. So if you wanted to find all the records that belong to one particular user, then you can choose that. And over here, the owner should become Katie Hall. And she has 28 records. So again, if I go back in and uncheck this, it defaults then to everybody. This is a refresh button, and this is a list all button that will clear out according to the filter that you've set. If I run a filter but don't save it as a list, I can clear it with the list all, or I can clear it with the X that's here. Global search I want to touch on. This one, if you're using the leads module and you don't know, maybe you've got a new person or company and you don't know if they're in the database. So you want to do a global search to find out, where Are they possibly in the leads module, or are they in accounts or contacts? So you can come over here and type in person's name, a company name, again, part of it, and then just hit the enter key. Whoa, I don't have any Susans in here? Holy moly. Let's see. Okay, I have one Tom in here. He's a lead. And he's with Silverman West Consulting Services. And it tells me where he is. Okay, I can look at details for him. Information, when he was created, all of that information. And then if I click go, I go to the lead record. Okay, if I click back, I go back to the search. Where this is more helpful is if you are an individual user in your database, and when you log in, you see only your own records, and you do get a new lead or something, and you don't know if that person or that company is already in your database because you can't see it if it belongs to someone else. This is where you can use this global search, because it will pull up any company that matches and tell you what it is: a contact, an account, a lead, okay, and it tells you the person it belongs to. So then you can say, oh, I see, I was going to put in, you know, American Technologies Corp, but it belongs to Bill. He's the owner of the record, so then you could go talk to Bill and say, hey, you know, are you working with them? That kind of thing. So that's where the global search can be very useful to those that are individual users in the database, all right? So that's searching. You're going to use this quick search a lot because you're, like I said, you're not going to scroll pages to page. And then the same things occur in your contacts module, your opportunities, your quotes and sales. You have different filters at the top, especially in your opportunities. This will be a list, and up here at the top are filters that are built in. If I go to all opportunities, that is going to show me all my opportunities I've ever had since I've been using Claritysoft, and give me the total number of them and the total value. If I go to active opportunities, then I'm seeing all my current active sales opportunities. And again, it shows me how many. It shows me the anticipated close date. This is important to keep this field up to date in your record, because then if I come back here and I say all active opportunities that have a close date of this month, that means June right now, okay? 3 days ago or last week, that meant May. So as soon as you flip over to the next month, that month becomes this month. So you have to pay attention to this. And so it's looking for anything that has a close date in June. If you have things that are still marked May, you need to go update them if they haven't closed yet. And then they become active for the current month or whatever. So that you definitely want to pay attention in opportunities, okay? Because you can add something in, and then when you click save and close, it's not in your list. And then you think, well, it didn't save it. Yes, it did. It's just that the filter that you have is not allowing it to be viewed. So to keep you from getting too confused at the beginning, set this to all opportunities, and then you can filter out. You have advanced search here, and you can search for different stages and things like that. Then once you're comfortable, you can switch to using these other filters. But it works the same way. In your search, you can type in the name of a company, or you can type in part of the name of the opportunity. And also notice here, I have 2 hyperlinks to click on. If I click on Acme Company, I'm not opening the opportunity record, I'm opening the account record. That's where people get confused. If I click on the opportunity, then I'm opening the opportunity record. But if you click on the file folder icon, bingo, always open the right record. So just make yourself do that and you'll have no problems. And then again, inside the opportunity record, you have fields, you have tabs for activities and things like that. So all of this is in here and it's all constructed the same way. Over here, you can see your account information for this company, for Acme Company. You can see the contact information for the company that's or for the opportunity. So you've got that information right in front of you when you're working in the opportunity record. All right. So that's kind of a quick, go from module to module. The other thing I'll touch on before I go into the workflow are the activities, because activities are the things that help you know what you're doing with your different people, whether they're a lead or a prospect or a current customer that you have. You want to stay in touch with them. You're calling them, you're emailing them, you're having meetings with them, you're visiting them, all the things that you do. You want to track those activities because that lets you know what you have done, and then you also want to schedule new activities so that you keep yourself moving forward with them. For example, if you call someone today to talk to them about a quote that you've sent to them, then want to maybe, if they haven't decided yet, you want to create another activity for 2 or 3 days from now to remind you to call them again to check on that quote so you don't let it slip. And that's the whole purpose of using a CRM, is to keep you on top of all of the people that you're working with, which it's hard to remember in your head and on pieces of paper or even spreadsheets. So when you create activities, they land in the activities module, and here Claritysoft gives you today's activities. By default, you would see 5, 10, 15 things that you said you needed to do today. And then I also want you to notice that my activities are overdue. So they don't go away if I don't complete them on the day that I said they should be completed. They stay on my to-do list forever until I actually mark them as being completed. And then they go away. And up here, we have completed activities. So they will go to the completed list. And you can look up by a company. So this quick search really becomes your friend because you can look up by a company or a contact person or part of the subject line. Notice all the things you can click on here. Go over here to this file folder icon, okay? So that's where your activities go. And you can change, again, to seeing all activities, which would be a mix of everything that you have planned plus everything that you've completed. Oh, look. Oh, it would help if I took the filter away over here. See? So anything in green is completed. Anything in red is in process. That's how you tell it. Also notice Adler Office Supplies and Blue Moose Winery. Blue Moose Winery has an asterisk in front of it. That means it's from the leads module. So this is a lead. This is an account. This is an account, an account. So if you see an asterisk, it means that company is in the leads module. All right. So, okay, Shanna's asking about hiding tabs or doing tabs and opportunities. Currently, you cannot do that. The tabs that are in opportunities, you cannot change. And then for your, can an admin set up column headings and push it out to all users? No. You cannot do that, and the reason is that different people may work with the data differently. One person, and on different days. You might want to see the territory field one day because you're trying to schedule some things, and so you want to be able to search by territory. Another day you want to see other custom fields. So that's why it's an individual control. And it just makes it easier. Otherwise, people would be getting mad at each other because somebody changed something and then they, they're not seeing what they want to be able to see. So that's the reason behind that, okay? The yellow message is an email. So an email is the gold. All right, so let me start kind of walking through, and this will pull a lot of other things together. If you're using the leads module, then any new lead that you're bringing in would go into the leads module first. You can import lists of leads that you might get from a trade show or some sort of conference that you attend. You can enter them manually, or you can connect the leads module to your web page and have them come in through a web form on your web page. So those are 3 methods for getting information in. When they come in, they're going to have a status of new. And you have filters up here of all leads, closed, converted, new, or working, okay, plus any others that you create, because you can do the same thing, creating and saving those views. So the default view here is going to be new leads. And as you work with a lead, you change the status, and then say you change it to working, you can then filter very quickly for your working leads to see, well, who am I working with right now? Because again, depending on the number of leads you have, you don't want to scroll through thousands of them. You want to get to the 50 or 60 or so that you might actually be working with currently. So if I go back to new leads, and let's just say I want to add a new lead. If I want to type one in, I come up here to the new lead button, click it. It's going to open a record, and I can type in a new company. So let's just call this Tuesday Company. Probably already have one in here. And your person, oh my goodness. I'll just say I'm the owner. Salutation field is how you would greet the person. So if Susan is Susan, or if Susan is Sue, you would put Sue. If she's Susie, you'd put Susie. If she's Ms. Arnold, because she demands to be called Ms. Arnold, you'd put that there. And then when you're doing an email blast type of thing, if you've filled in your salutation field, you can use that field rather than the first name field. Another thing I want to mention here with the contact name, because this is always confusing to beginners, I type Susan space Arnold in one field. It looks like it's all in one field, but if I click on the word contact, it opens a little window, and notice that first name is in a first name field and last name is in the last name field. So the space is the separator for Claritysoft. So intuitively, when you type first name space last name, it figures it out and it puts it in here. If you have a more complicated name, then you may want to come in here and type the first name if there's a middle name, and then there's maybe a hyphenated last name or something like that. So you would open this little window and type it the way it should be, so it's split into the proper fields. Prefix would be Mr., Ms., Mrs. This, you can create a list of that, or your admin can create a list of that in settings, and the same thing with the suffix if you need those. But I just want people to know that, because they sometimes get confused and say, well, shoot, this looks like it's all in the same field. It is not, okay? So when you're putting in your lead, you're trying to fill in all the information as much as possible. If you don't have it all, then you can skip it for now. I'm using the tab key to move from field to field, so you don't have to click with, I'll just put yourself here. Here's that industry type field. So we'll just call this a retail company, and product interest. Maybe you don't know this yet because you haven't spoken to the person, so you might not fill that in right now. Territory, if you know the address, you'd be able to assign it to a territory. If you don't know the address, you might not be able to. So you just type it in. None of these make any sense. Country field, if you work out of the country, then you can keep the country field. If you don't work out of the country, then that could be removed from view by your admin person. And then over here is my status field of new. So you can see I can have new or working right now. Once I save the record, the other option I can have is closed because a lead may not pan out for me. And then this stage, this is customizable, so your list may be different than my list, okay? And the same thing with quality. Again, you might not know this yet if you haven't spoken with them. And then the lead source, well, how did I get this person, okay? Maybe I found them on a website, or they came through our website, or I found them, let's put, I met them at a trade show, okay? You will be the owner. So once you've done this, then you can come down here and click Save. Claritysoft will save the record and leave it open. And if you are ready right now to contact Susan on a first time, then you can do that. And up here you could send her an email. You could log an activity, which if that would be done if you called her, or you can create a new activity to schedule something to do in a day or two. Okay, maybe you're just entering a bunch of leads and you just want to schedule things. So I'm going to pretend that I've called her and I want to log my phone call. So it's a call. This list is also a customizable list, so yours may look different than mine. The contact is Susan, and I can call this, initial call. And again, to discuss products, etc. It has the date and the time, and then you can put your notes in. So, maybe interested, send info. Again, you want to put good notes in for yourself so you don't have to remember it. And if someone else comes in here to read the notes, they understand them. So save it, and I now have an activity here under closed activities. Well, let's say I want to make sure I call her back. So I'm going to click on this red button for new activity and set a follow-up call. Again, it's to the person. You have more things here. You can set a priority. You could put a location if it's in a space, but I'm mostly interested in the date. So I want to make sure I follow up no later than next week. And if you want to set a time, you can. So all of that. If you want to show this on your calendar, you can click there and then put a note in, points to discuss during call. So you would make a list, of what you remember or what you want to remind yourself to discuss during that call. Once you make the call, you'll put your result notes in and mark it completed. So I'm going to do this. These things you can ignore over here. These are custom and you don't have them. So now I have an open activity to call on the 10th. I have a closed activity for today on the 4th. All right. Well, let's say this. Susan surprises me, calls me, and says, well, we're ready to move forward. So I'm going to say, oh, okay. So I'm going to change the stage to qualify. And I'm going to save it. And make sure I fill in everything else as much as possible. And then I can convert this. So while the record is open, after I've saved it, I come to the vertical ellipsis button and say Convert Lead. Claritysoft is going to tell me, okay, creating this company, this contact, it's assigned to this person, and if you want to create a sales opportunity, click in the checkbox, click Apply. What Claritysoft is going to do is it is going to create 3 records and is going to mark the lead record as being converted. So when I go back out, Tuesday company is not in my list here because I'm looking at new leads. I want to look at converted leads. And there it is. So it automatically changes your status to converted. Now you do not come back to look at Tuesday Company anymore in the leads module. You're done with it because you're going to go to accounts and type in Tuesday, and there it is. So now all my data has transferred, and including now Susan is now a contact under Tuesday Company. And the reason we do this now is so maybe when you start talking with Susan, there are additional people. You know, you might have another contact there, so you can add a new contact. I'll just say VP sales, whatever. You know, again, you would fill in the information, what you have, and notice that the phone number and the address information automatically fill in from the account record, and then you would fill in the other information. Here's where you check whether somebody's the primary contact. So if I find out, even though I talked to Susan first, Tom is going to become my primary contact at the company. So I could do a save and close, and then he will be the one marked with the blue star. So that indicates to me he's my primary contact from this point forward, okay? Notice my activity that's scheduled for next week is there. It isn't lost. And my closed activity that I did is there. So all the activities that you do with a lead transfer over, including all the emails that you send, will come across. So you have your whole history there. And then here is my opportunity record. And I can open my opportunity, and then I can begin to work my opportunity. So I have a product. Again, this may be different. Maybe these are brand new people, never worked with them before. Sales stages will be different. Okay, so maybe I'm at the discovery stage, and this probability goes along with the stage. Again, however your company has it set up, this will change as you move through. Territory came across, product interest, I did not set in my lead record, which I probably should have, you know, before I saved the lead record if I knew it, but industry type did. Number of users, you know, I don't know, this is kind of a random database. Now, opportunity, it has a number here. You may change this, okay? So if you're working on something like the project of some sort, then you can put the project name in. If it's, you know, a major product, you can put that in. So I'm just going to call this big project or something like that. But you would put in a name that makes sense rather than a number. I think that's easier for you to remember and look up in the opportunities list. This came across. Now, when you first create the opportunity, you can type in an amount. You know, I'm calling it a big project, but it's only $5,000, okay? Not a very big project. Cost, if that's your cost, if you want to enter it. Enter date will always be the date you create the record. Close date is when you anticipate closing the opportunity. So all of you know you have certain lead times, logical lead times for your business. So put a logical time. I'm going to hope to close this by the end of next month. Okay. This is a text box field for typing text. This is a calculated field that you'll see when I save it. And this is the lead conversion date. This tells me when I converted the lead to create the opportunity, so that can be useful. And this is just an ID field. These you can have visible or not visible. So if I go down and click Save, you'll notice this weighted revenue calculates. It's taking the 30% times the 5,000 and giving me a weighted revenue. Now this may or may not be possible in your database. You have to have calculated field types turned on, so you might not have that available to you. All right, again in here I can add activities in my opportunity. So I can work in here and do all my work and schedule my activities, do my activities. When I'm ready for products and services, if you, again, you put a price book in Claritysoft, I can go to the plus sign and I can choose my products. So if I want this and this, it drops it in. I go to the quantity and let's say they want 35 and they want 50. So it's calculating times the price to give me a total. If you want to change the price, you may for this particular one. But now when I go back to the details tab, notice the 5,000 that I had put in there is now 3162.50. So it takes the total from the products and services and puts it in here, and I no longer can type in there. Okay, so I work my magic here and I go through my stages. The next stage is to send a quote. So I can click to change to that stage. And then I want to convert my opportunity to a quote. So I come up here, convert to quotation. Convert, yes. So now I can do a save and close on my opportunity and go to quotations. Now I can do it right here. I'm in the account record still. I can just go right to this tab, or I can go to the quotations module, either place, but I can open it. Notice that the description for the quote is the name of the opportunity, big project. It puts in a quote number. It has it all attached to the right company. The address comes through. The amount comes through because the products and services are there. So it's all there. So really my next step is to do a quote template. And I can go to this vertical ellipsis button, quotation template. You get to design your own templates in here. And I'm just going to go to a sample one. Your information will be in here because you will fill it in, but here's a preview. I can preview the quote and just check out that my quote, like I said, you can design your own, change the colors, put your own logo in, set it all up. You just might need some help on that. Once you've previewed it, I'm going to click this window, then I can say email, and I can send this out. It puts in, hello, first name. It's pulling in the first name field. Here's a quote. You can edit this any way you want. Your quote is attached as a PDF, and you click send. And then it sends it off to the person. So that's done. Now, what I would probably do, as I was saying before, if I'm in my opportunity record, because I'm still in a sense working the opportunity record, I just happen to be at the quote stage, I can go back to my opportunity record and I could add an activity for following up on the quote. So I could say new activity, quote, follow up. Oops, didn't spell it right. Give a call. And set it for perhaps Friday, all right, and then save it. So now I've got an activity going for me to follow up on my quote. And then when my quote comes through, I can say, okay, I've either at negotiation or maybe they've decided, okay, cool, we've won, all right? So I can do that, and then I can take my quote and convert it to a sale. Now, again, you may not be using the sales module in Claritysoft. A lot of people don't because they go directly to their accounting system. But you may not use the quote system in Claritysoft. But if you do, it is there. So here's my quote. I can open it. And there's a status for it. As soon as I figure out where it is, there it is. And I can say accepted, save, and then I can convert it to a sale from within the record. Convert to sale. Same process. And do a save and close. Now this time I'll go to the sales module rather than doing it from within here. So I can go to my sales module and see a list of all my sales that are here, and then I can find, there's my Tuesday company sale. See, it says this month. I go to all sales. Notice I have a lot more. Look up Tuesday, there it is. So my sale has gone through and I have a sale record. So I've walked through the entire process from lead to convert a lead to create the sales opportunity, take the sales opportunity, work with it, convert it to a quotation, send a quotation out from within Claritysoft, then get the quotation back and accepted to win the opportunity, and then convert it to a sale. So that is your process that you follow. I've gone a little bit over time, so I apologize. But hopefully that's helped you clarify some things, how to set up your screens and do that sort of thing within the database and navigate within the database. Get in there and just work with it, because you can't really mess things up. Just get in there and experiment, do the searches. Learning how to do really good searches is very important, because then you can find the data that you want to find, and you can run filters to pull up the records that you want to pull up and look at. So if there aren't any other questions, I guess we'll wrap up for the day. And I'll go back to here. And first of all, we thank you for attending. We had a nice group today. And if you need help, then you can call our support team at any time at this number here, 888-838-7487, extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. If you are in our implementation process with either Linda or myself, then you can talk to one of us and we will help you with any questions that you have. And then if you have any suggestions for new topics or critiques on the webinars you're watching, please send that information to info@claritysoft.com. So I thank all of you for being here. Go and have a wonderful day and the rest of the week. And hopefully we'll see you for next week's webinar.